And in honor of the Fewley family's longtime devotion and dedication to this club, they're going to go through the parade first. This is Mary Fewley, Roseville, Kansas, 1937 IHC F20. Bought in 1950. Marvin grew up on this tractor. He used it to 1978. It was restored in 92. This is it Marvin? Which one are you? Kevin Lees, Marshall Fewley's grandson, Roseville, Kansas, 1935 Farmall F20 white.
Oh, don't step right.
The tractor was previously owned by Marshall and Gail Fewley. Thank you for bringing that through. Martin and Lisa Herbert, Roseville, Kansas. Driver is Martin Herbert, 1937 Farmall F20, part of the Fewley collection. Thank you for driving today. Another one of the Fewley families here. 1983 IHC code number 682, bought new, one owner and original. I can remember when these people cruised around the grounds on this. You'll probably still see them doing that. This is the K&O steamer that they own. We're not sure of the year. It's an Alton Taylor 18 horse. And this is Dick Long at the throttle there. Who you got with you? Karen? Is she going to be the next steam operator for us? Well, good. Well, she's better looking than you anyway. You knew that was coming, didn't you? Yeah. Feature this year's garden tractor, our second feature. This next one belongs to Norris Long of Wichita, Kansas. The driver is Joseph. And you know what? It's a typical old tractor. It won't start. It's giving trouble. Way to go. This is owned by Carol Underwood, Winfield, Kansas. Braven Bottoms, 1960 Continental 6. Just picked up recently. Don't let all that power get away from you there. What's that going to be when it grows up anyway? Rock Yoakum, Wichita, Kansas. 1973 Sears SP16 with the original snowplow on it. I've heard about snow. I've heard the old timers talk about it. Okay, Joseph's got that thing fired up and moving. If you've never looked at a Panzer, you need to look those things over. Boy, they've got quite a drive system on them. This is Brady Thompson from Wichita, Kansas, 1976 Sears SS16. This pickup belongs to Metz Farms over at Wellington, Kansas, and driver is Anthony, supposedly. 1936 Chevrolet Master Deluxe. This is a pretty fancy pickup back in the day. I do believe that is Anthony in there. This pickup was sold new in Winfield. Orville Metz bought it a year after it was new, and at the dealer in Winfield. Now here's a classy ride right here. Jason Metz, Wellington, Kansas. 1969 Chevy C10, bought new by Jason's grandfather. Been in Lauder, Kansas, been in the family ever since new. That is a sharp ride. By the way, Jason, I missed it. You have a flag there. You won $10 for carrying that flag through the parade. I'll get picked up later. Bill Moore, Oklahoma, 1937 John Deere A. Bought new in present condition. What? Bought used in present condition is great. Thank you for bringing that up, Bill. That's a nice paint job you got there. This is Janice Waller from Moore, Oklahoma, 1950 Farmall Cub. It's a demonstrator model. IHC painted those white for special demonstrations to try to draw interest in the new line of tractor. She won this in a raffle. You want to back me in a poker game? Okay, people, this next one is a raffle tractor from Major County Historical Society in Fairview, Oklahoma. The driver is Kyle Nichols, 1951 Farmall Model C. You can buy tickets for this, and it's going to be given away at the Threshing Bee in Fairview, Oklahoma. $5 a ticket, or 5 tickets for $20. You better go for that 5 tickets for $20 thing there. Y'all can win yourself a Farmall C. Joyce, you want to get in on this? The way your luck goes, you might win another tractor. John McDaniel, Wellington, Kansas, 1950 Oliver 66, 4-cylinder road crop, 2-wheel drive. Alton Lewis on the 1950 Ford 8N. If I remember correctly, the N. Brett Castile, Debbie Cox from Clearwater, Kansas. Driver is Debbie Cox on a 1963 wheel horse, 753. I'm going to guess Debbie is the better looking one. I had to say it, you know. I know not to make a woman mad. Okay, I got back on track. This 1928 Caterpillar 60 is owned by the K&O Club of Winfield, Kansas. This is driven won that. I wondered who ended up with that. Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot that the original person that won that really didn't want it, and anyway, Ben ended up with it. I mean, it's a story. This contraption, we're not sure what it is, but it comes from the Lee Ray family here at Winfield. It says this is the boat car. It has a 4-cylinder boat engine in it. Whatever it is, it's homemade and handy. This is owned by Mark Ray, driven by Ben Ray, 1949 Packard. No kidding, it's stripped down. In 1969, Frank Ray bought a 49 Packard for $25 for kids to play with. Scott Humbert, Winfield, Kansas, 1955 model 300 Farmall. Ed Macy, Ponca City, Oklahoma, 1940 International Farmall H. Been in the family for 65 plus years. Our feature this year was trucks. This truck right here has a lot of stories to tell. My father, Roland Schmidt, ordered this truck in the spring of 1963. He ordered that truck with every heavy-duty option you could get. And it has a lot of good stories. His daughter, Glenda, is riding in that. The driver is Miles Kaiser from Cherryville, Kansas. My father bought that truck. He traded off a truck that was 17 years old. He said, I hope we can buy a new truck every 8 or 10 years and not have to farm with old trucks anymore. Well, it's still here. And it is used and abused on the Schmidt farm. Bill Wood, Emporia, Kansas, 53 John Deere 60 and John Deere number 5 Sycamore. Owned the tractor for several years. Thank you for bringing some equipment with you. That really adds to our show. Okay, I'm not going to give any last names because all these tractors are owned by the Pells family of Clearwater, Kansas. The driver is Jamie Pells, 1937 John Deere D. Now, easy there, you're hot rodding. Just because you got them chrome mufflers there, pipes on that thing. Rachel, that's from Clearwater, Kansas, 1937 John Deere B. Somebody check that D out. Make sure that's not too noisy and out of control out there. Nathan Snyder, 1943 John Deere A, or the Pells family collection. You know, he set the bad example for you down there. Hot rock running on that thing. Cody Decker, 1947 John Deere D. Pells family. Whitney Harlicker, 1951 John Deere A. How come Dad gets to drive the one with fancy chrome stacks on it anyway? I'd have a talk with him about that. Oh, that's his baby. Okay, I got it. I understand it. This is another Pells tractor from Clearwater, Jim Pells, 1952 John Deere R. Now, I don't think that's Deb Pells on that thing. 1954 John Deere model, and that's not a Model 50 either. Well, somebody snuck an R in here once, but that's okay. Hope, Kansas, 1965 International 706 Farmall. This pickup is owned by the Metz family of Wellington, Kansas. Jason Metz is the driver. 48 Chevy 1-ton. This has a 10-foot bed on it. Bought new by Lloyd Metz in Wellington, Kansas. It's all grain, feed, hay, and everything else you can imagine on the Metz dairy farm. Gleaner L2. This is owned by Logan Lawrence of Winfield, Kansas. They use this to cut wheat so that they can windrow the straw, bale it, and sell it. This is an Alice Chalmers 912 Hydro, owned by the Davis family in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and that is not Emily. The Davis family's having a little too much fun with me, I'll tell you that right now. Okay, they got this one right. This is Jeremiah Davis from Shawnee, Oklahoma, in our 1966 Alice Chalmers D17 Series 4 Propane. I think that Series 4 was the one you wanted to get. It had a lot of nice features on it. Your three-point arms are dragging there, son. Gleaner A2. This is owned by Matthew Light at Cheney, Kansas, and he harvested wheat with this last year. Says it does an excellent job, and that is a pretty nice slick old combine. It's been in the shed most of its life. Going to take some time here. 1958 GV Moline on the front of a 1965 Minneapolis Moline G705. Frank Ray put this together in 1966 and pulled an 8-bottom plow and other field equipment with it. And they built the cab in 75. Apparently that thing was a little dirty. What's the hold up down there? You know how to drive that thing? Get one of them kids up there and show you how to drive it. This is owned by Rick Johnson in Newkirk, Oklahoma. It's an Alice. That's not an Alice Chalmers Big 10. And it didn't come in a junk box. You guys are trying to trick me, aren't you? That's not what it says here. You guys are having fun with me. I can tell you that right now.
He'll probably bring that one back here in a little bit.
Oh, good. Confuse me a little more. Dennis Metz, Wellington, Kansas. Who's in there driving? Is it Jason? Anthony, you're going through for the second time. 62 Chevy C60. Bought new by Lloyd Metz in Wellington, Kansas. The truck is full of silage and everything else you can imagine on the Mets farm. This 830 John Deere belongs to Todd Andes at Winfield, Kansas. 1959 John Deere 830. When he was a kid, he did a lot of plowing on a tractor just like this. Bow timer, Lindell Moore, and Scotty Gatewood did the restoration job on that. Morgan, is that Morgan on the tractor there? That's Morgan, and that's a Todd son-in-law. He must be pretty tough to put up with Todd. That's a real nice restoration job. Shea Pippett at Burden, Kansas. Driver is Cody Pippett, 1937 John Deere B. I think we're having a little trouble getting one in gear down here. This is a 1937 John Deere Model A, driven by Shea Pippett of Burden, Kansas. John Deere DR, owned by Bob Wall, El Dorado, Kansas. You've been bringing that to this show quite a few years, haven't you? Thank you for bringing that. I shouldn't even have to describe that one. I think he's bringing it so long. Owned by Abby and Andy Wall of El Dorado, Kansas. Driven by Abby Wall. Not sure of the year. Sabolin's 1053. They call it the yard donkey. When's Dad gonna let you move up the big tractor? This is Uncle C.B. Wilson out of South Haven, Kansas. Brody Wilson is the driver. 1942 John Deere Model A. Owner's name is Zeke Wilson out of South Haven, Kansas. Driven by Jace Wilson, 1947 Farmall Lamb. Jace, come around and see me. You want $10? No, you don't have a flag on that, do you? Hey, you missed out there. Sorry. This is Uncle Russ Miller. The driver is Dennis Miller, 1935 Farmall F20. John Miller restored this, and Dennis is his grandson. Yeah, he was having to twist that crank the other day trying to get that thing started. But he got it going. If you see something zipping around the grounds out there, you're not sure what it is, well, that's Dennis on a thing. Matt Pilkington, Winfield, Kansas, International 656 Hydro. The Hydro is very popular in the hayfield with a very good loader tractor. 1968 Oliver 1850 owned by Roger Schmidt at Winfield, Kansas. LP gas was kind of a rare option on this tractor. The driver is Renee Edelman from Olympia, Washington. You heard that right, Olympia. And that is her daughter, Raina, riding along with her. I think she's asleep. Logan Lawrence, Winfield, Kansas, 1957 Oliver, Super 88. Who's the driver? I believe Matt Lawrence is driving that, aren't you? I believe would have been your great-grandfather bought that new? Gerald, your grandfather. Logan's great-grandfather bought that new Ralph Cruise Implement in Winfield, Kansas, one family owner. I've driven that tractor many times. This next tractor is part of the Feudy collection that was sold last summer. Marshall Feudy painted this thing John Deere green and yellow, and I wanted it since the day it was new. Or since the day he painted it, I guess I should say. This is the Feudy's Outlaw Farmall, painted John Deere green and yellow. I managed to buy that at the auction, and I am really proud of that thing. And I don't care if you like it or not, and no, it's not going to get repainted red. Garrett Haskins out of Raymond, Oklahoma. Driver is Garrett, 1945 John Deere V. He's got a 1900 Oliver. I don't know why he brought that green thing. Owned by Terry Lawrence. I believe that's Jacob Lawrence at the wheel. This tractor is still used on the Lawrence farm. In fact, I've seen him breaking hay on my farm with it. This is owned by Cameron Bybee, Ark City, Kansas. Driven by Patrick. Okay, Patrick's on there. 1937 John Deere A, unstyled. It was restored by Dwayne Ripida. Cameron purchased this in 2020, and he told the Ripida family he would take care of this tractor, and he sure has done that. Oliver 77. Owned by Cameron Bybee, and this is his daughter Brianna driving that thing. Restored by Les Young and Dwayne Ripida. This is Aaron Clare out of Winfield, Kansas. He bought this 1951 McCormick during W6 just maybe less than a week ago. This is his first tractor, and he's here at the show. He's pretty proud of that. They've been using that on the soil mill. His rider is Bethany Bybee. He probably needs instructions on how to drive that thing. Cassidy Brennan, Stillwater, Oklahoma, 1945 Alice Chalmers Model C. Restored by her father, Alan Brennan, and her grandfather, Bob Sherrard. What's the deal with that guy on the back? Is he a walk-on wheel weight or what? That may be a little too much weight for that tractor, but whatever. This tractor is owned by Alan Brennan, Winfield, Kansas. James Peake is driving it. 1945 John Deere Model H. I think them things had like 12 or 14 horsepower, something like that. A little bigger than a garden tractor. Miles Kaiser, Cherryville, Kansas. 1980 Mack RL 700. do believe Megan is driving that. Yeah, she's probably a better driver than him anyway. Well, we don't have a number, we don't have a card for this tractor, so we're just going to have to guess what the deal is on that. We're going to take a guess. Did you buy that at Marshall Keeley's sale? Okay, you're out of South Haven, Kansas. Okay, City. Osage City. Okay, that came out of Marshall Keeley's collection. Ace of Tunes, Osage City. Well, now I've got a card. Ladies and gentlemen, this tractor is very special to my crew. This tractor was purchased by the Smith family in Missouri and put boats in and out of Table Rock Lake for many years. It was brought back to Winfield when the boats got too big for it. It was sold to Eric Finch. This was his first restoration project. I met Eric on the YT Mag forums on the Combine forum, and I have a very good story to tell about a Combine he found for me. He started coming down here to the show. He fit right in with my crew very well. He was a friendly guy. He liked to cook. He made homemade biscuits and gravy, and it was outstanding. He helped. He pitched in everywhere. We lost him in February of this year, and this tractor is shown in his memory. Thank you for bringing that through, Logan. Camera 5, Arkansas City, Kansas, 1935 John Deere Model D. It was restored by Dwayne Ripida, and Cameron purchased this in 2020. This is kind of a family thing. We're trying to keep them all together here. This is the Peters family out of Burns, Wyoming. Yeah, you heard me right. They hauled all this out of Burns to this show. That is Hadley there on the 110 Minneapolis Moline lawnmower. I don't think she's been driving too long. This G708 front wheel assist, they made 31 of these on propane. I think this is the second time you've hauled that to this show, isn't it? That's like Lance Peters on the 708 there. The one bringing up the rear here is Lane Peters from Burns, Wyoming. 1935 Twin City JT. I just realized that thing's got mud scrapers on the front wheels there. Alice Chalmers WC, owned by Melissa Plowman at Holton, Kansas. This used to be a part of her dad's massive Alice Chalmers collection. Fun fact, it has been used in the tractor shows and tractor rodeos in the previous show, which was fun with a crank start. parade, we've got one that's broke down and it's gonna have to be pulled. Yeah, right, that happens every parade we have. Brian Kearney, Belle Plaine, Kansas. This is a 1938 John Deere L. How long does it take you to plow an 80 with that thing? All night, I'll bet. And this is a 69 John Deere 112 in sunset orange patio. This is a patio tractor. John Deere did this as a promotional deal in the late 60s, early 70s. You can get these in several different colors, white, blue, orange, I'm not sure what else. Levi Kearney, Belle Plaine, Kansas, 1960 John Deere Model 435. John Deere's only factory-produced tractors with a Detroit engine in it. More of the Kearney bunch here from Belle Plaine, Kansas. 1962 John Deere Model 2010. This is part of the new generation. Levi Kearney, Belle Plaine, Kansas, 1970 Chevrolet Model C70. Originally purchased by the Kingman County Highway Department, it was powered by a 453 Detroit with an automatic transmission. I think we've got some people here that like Detroits. Yeah, I think that's a Detroit in there. I don't see a string of oil behind it. Yeah, he must have a rubber band wound up in there or something. David Smith, Valley Center, Kansas. 1949 Cockshutt 30 with a co-op E3 switched to Cockshutt 30 at the factory. I'm not sure who this is. Are you Jacob? Okay, 1991 Strassman Craftsman, 20 horse. Looks like it's a garden tractor puller. John Toombs, Augusta, Kansas, 1936 John Deere B. Brett McFarland, Beggs, Oklahoma, 1966 Alice Chalmers Model 190. Jeremiah Davis, Shawnee, Oklahoma. Driver is Jeremiah, 1940 Alice Chalmers Model P. This is a custom loader. You know, you could have your daughter driving these for you. She says she's working, but you know. .1940 Farmall B, owned by Cooper Wilson in South Haven, Kansas. Folks, here's a special tractor to me. This is Bo Timer from Winfield, Kansas, 1967 IHC 1206, pulling a 750 International 5/18 plow. The Timer family was using this tractor. Watt Equipment at Winfield, Kansas was trying to talk Bo's father into buying this, and he didn't think he could afford it. However, the neighbor Ronald Heffron decided he needed a bigger tractor, and he went into Watt Equipment, and they sent him out there to the Timer farm. I think he drove that on your farm, didn't he? Plowing with it. Bo was the first person to drive this tractor when it was brand new. He drove it out to the farm. Ronald Heffron fell in love with it, decided he had to have it. He bought it and he kept it. And every time it came time to trade in for a bigger tractor, he just kept this old girl. And when his time came, he gave it to Bo to take care of it for him. It's being restored now by, who we got? Scotty Gatewood and Linda Moore on it. Morgan Andes and Bo are all restoring this old tractor. Thank you for bringing that through here. Wait a minute, you don't have your official Watt Equipment 1206 drive in hand. Yeah, we didn't want to get sweat all over it. Well, get a buggy top, will you? But I really like it. This is Matt Cokin in Winfield, Kansas. This is a 1066 International High Clearance. They use this down in the southern part of the states for cane work. Norman Hayes, Oxford, Kansas, 1955 John Deere Model 80. Original 80 with 6,690 hours on it. Originally sold in South Dakota. Has had only 2 owners.